Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Josh Keatley, and I just seen a video on Queen's channel talking about the Blackbird Raven Easter egg, the truth behind it. And I just want to say that Queen is one of my favorite Call of Duty zombie YouTubers, and I agree with her that there is no physical Easter egg behind the Raven, but there is an Easter egg with the storyline of the Raven. They don't put things like this in the game for absolutely no reason. There's meaning behind this Raven. I'm gonna go ahead and explain that to you. I've known about this since the first or second week their Eisendrache came out and never made a video. Now, a lot of people were calling this a crow. Everyone described it as the crow Easter egg. If you go up to the Raven and you shoot it, nothing happens. He just blows up and disappears. Since a long time, many people thought this meant something, that this was a step to a bigger Easter egg that we haven't solved yet in Der Eisendrache. And I've seen videos about it, like Mad Guys Gaming, Lord Spickenham made a video about the crow. I was telling them on the video, it's not a crow, it's a raven. And Queen actually was right about that by calling it a raven. Now, if you take a look at a crow and a raven, they're almost exactly the same, but it is a raven. And besides looks, how I know it's a raven is because there's a bigger meaning, a bigger story, and it has to do with Norse mythology. This is actually one of Odin's ravens. Now, Odin had two ravens, Huginn and Muninn. It's a pair of ravens that fly all over the world to Midgard. That's what Norse mythology calls the earth. You have where the gods live, and then down on the earth is Midgard, and bring information. So they'd fly around all over the world to Midgard and bring information to Odin. Now, you may be asking, why Odin? How do I know this? And trust me, I'm gonna explain all that. Now, ever since Origins, they started to put a lot of Norse mythology into zombies, and their Eisendrache is completely full of Norse mythology. And I will be making a separate video explaining every single tiny thing of Norse mythology. Almost every single painting on the wall has Norse mythology in it, has to do with it. I'm gonna make a separate video on that. But just to explain how Odin fits into this, explain a little bit of the Norse mythology. If we go back to Origins, there was the three big giant robots, and they all had names. There was actually four giant robots. The fourth one was down. We don't know his name yet. I believe his name is Loki, but that's a whole nother video on a whole nother topic. But the giant robot's name was Freya, Odin, and Thor. Three gods in Norse mythology. Now, in this one, we did get to see a robot, a giant robot in the intro, and I believe that giant robot was the middle robot from Origins, Odin. And why I'm going to stick with Odin, because everything to do on this map has to do with Odin. Doesn't have to anything to do with Freya, nothing to do with Thor. This map is all about Odin. And just some examples to have to do with Odin. Now, we know the wonder weapon in Der Eisendrache is called the Ragnarok, which is the gravity spikes that you use. Now, why did they choose the name Ragnarok? Now, what Ragnarok is in Norse mythology, it is the great battle foretold to result in the death of major gods, including Odin, Thor, Ty, Freya, Heimdall, and Loki. Now, I probably pronounced some of those wrong. I apologize. But Ragnarok is the great battle. Now, that's also on the wall on the Shadows of Evil. And I have a feeling that the original four have to do with Ragnarok. That's a whole nother video itself. Maybe they get involved in the great battle. But Ragnarok is the great battle where Odin dies. If we move on, the Wrath of the Ancients. Now, what is the Wrath in Norse mythology? Now, in Norse mythology, there is a special sword that came from Odin called Gram. In Old Norse, Gram is the meaning wrath. The Wrath of the Ancients, the Gram. That is the special sword that Sigurd used to kill the dragon Fafnir. Now, if you take a look in Samantha's room, on the table is called a book, Fafnir and Sigurd. Now, this has to do with the Volsungs saga. In Norse mythology, the Volsungs saga is, equivalent to like the chapter, a certain chapter in the Bible. I mean, it's just a chapter, it tells a whole bunch of different stories. stories, and I read the entire Volsungs saga because so much of it has to do with their Eisendrache. And it's so interesting. But there it is, just another thing that identifies Odin. The sword actually came from Sigurd's father Sigmund, which Odin actually stuck the sword, the gram, into a tree, and whoever could pull it out could use the sword. Basically some King Arthur shit. King Sigmund was the only one that could pull the sword out of the tree, so he got to wield the sword. And eventually Sigmund died. He got into a fight with Odin himself, and the sword was shattered. Sigmund's wife, Sigurd's mother, put the sword back together and gave it to Sigurd. Sigurd used that sword, the gram, the wrath, to slay the Dragnir Fafnir. Very interesting story. You guys should go read it. I'm going to have a whole bunch of links down in the description. Even an audio story if you want to hear about Sigurd and Fafnir the dragon. It's very interesting. So I could go on and on and on about the Norse mythology that is in Der Eisendrache. Like I said, I'm going to save that for another video, but I just want to mention that in this video, you know, just to show you that Odin does play a huge part, a huge role in the Der Eisendrache story. So getting back to the raven now, why would one of Odin's raven be sitting right there on that ledge? And the ravens are all over in the map. There's different pictures of it and everything. There's even one with the raven and the wolf, and I already made a story, you know, explaining the very first part, Sigmund's death. You know, check out that video. That'll explain the raven and the wolf. Like I said, I'm going to explain all these eventually, but why the raven is looking down, you know, because like I said about Huginn and Muninn, is they flew all over the world bringing information to Odin. Now what is going on in Der Eisendrache is really important to a god like Odin, you know, because they're getting ready to destroy the moon. You know, that is very, very important to Odin. You know, in a different universe, they destroyed the earth. So these are really important things that a god would want to pay attention to. And Odin is watching over them. He sends his raven down to bring back information to Odin of what is going on, why the moon explodes. And that is all I got for you guys. If you have any questions at all, I would love to answer them for you. Leave that down in the comments, any opinions, any questions. And definitely look out for my other video, Norse mythology in Der Eisendrache. That should be coming out in a couple days here. And I do want to thank you guys so much for watching my video, and you have a great day today.